You should try archery blindfolded. You don't know what you're missing. What's going on, guys? Mike with Iceberg Gaming here. Today I'm going to be ranking the Dragonflight professions. Now these are predictions by me. This is my opinion. This is just like my opinion, man. If you disagree, feel free to do so respectfully. Last time I posted something like this, I got kind of bullied a little bit, but let's keep it respectful, even if you disagree. Now, keep in mind, I did not get into the beta. Still salty about that. So this is based on just research and on Wowhead's information. So anything that I missed that I wasn't able to see because I wasn't in the beta, please feel free to correct me respectfully in the comment section. As you guys know, I have the Druid army here, and I've got all the professions. I'm going to be doing all of them right away. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys which ones you should prioritize if you have to pick just one or two. Now, I am going to be doing this with ranking tier lists. So for the purpose of the list, I am going to be having at least one profession in each of the tier ranking categories. We're doing S, A, B, C, and D is the worst. And don't get personally insulted if your chosen profession is in a lower tier. And there could be an argument to be made that basically all the professions are quote-unquote S and or A tier. So I'm just doing this to have one in each category to make an actual tier list. So don't get salty. So without further ado, here is the tier list. Now, starting off in the D tier, this is the quote-unquote worst of the worst. Somebody's got to lose, and unfortunately, engineers, it is you. Once again. Engineers, you just don't have a whole lot going on as far as gold making. You've got some cool stuff in here, but most of it is going to be for your own benefit. Potentially, you could sell some of the jumper cables, but the rest of this is all just like reagents and stuff. Reagents you might be able to make a little bit of gold on, depending on what they're used for. Like I said, I'm not in the beta, so I don't know what these are all used to craft. So you might be able to make a little bit of gold flipping reagents. But other than that, you're basically just looking at maybe jumper cables and possibly goblin gliders. But these actually look like tinkers, so you might not be able to sell those as well. Sorry about that, engineers. This is like the second or third expansion in a row that you guys have kind of been the bottom of the totem pole as far as gold making. Next up, moving up into the C tier, we've got jewel crafting. Once again, keep in mind that this is a relative list, so jewel crafting isn't necessarily bad. It's just lower than some of the other professions, and again, it's just my opinion, man. Jewel crafters, as usual, you're looking at a bunch of different jewel crafting cuts. We've got a green, blue, and even some purple cuts. It looks like these illuminated diamonds might be something like the old meta gems from back in the day. Now these are, a lot of them are BOP, but you should be able to sell them through the new work order system. We've also got some interesting looking trinkets in here. We've got some necklaces and a couple of cosmetic items that probably won't sell that well, but people do like stuff like that. And then we do have a couple of toys, and toys always sell pretty well, so you're going to look at selling those as well. So jewel crafters, you're looking pretty good. Next up is the B tier, which is the quote-unquote average. So this tier is going to be kind of the average, what you can expect. And Alchemists, you are up. Originally, I was thinking A tier for alchemy, but I decided that some of the other crafting professions for like gear and stuff are going to be just a little bit better than alchemy, at least at the start of the expansion. So I moved alchemy down to B, but once again, these are all good. Every profession is going to be rolling in the gold. Alchemists, you're basically looking at the usual stuff. We've got new potions, new elixirs, new flasks, and then we've got some banquets, and delicacies are like the stone soup, as well as a couple of alchemist stones. Now these are BOP, so potentially you might be able to sell these through the work orders, but these are for transmuting, so I don't know if they would actually sell that well or not, but something to look at for sure. Alchemists are going to be killing it with potions and elixirs and flasks, definitely though. So alchemy, you're going to be rolling in it as well. And next up, we've got the A tier. Now these are, now we're getting into the real winners of the expansion. These are the cream of the crop coming up here. And in the A tier, I'm putting Leatherworking and Enchanting. Now, enchanting is fairly obvious. People need enchants. We're going to be rolling in new gear pretty much every few levels or so, depending on how they do it. But in previous expansions, we've basically got new gear sets every couple levels. I'm thinking of Burning Crusade in particular. Every quest was like the gear was better than previous raid gear. So people are going to need enchants for their new gear. And so enchanting, you're going to be doing fantastic. I wasn't able to find a list of recipes for enchanting, so I don't know exactly what you're going to have, but as always, enchanting, you're going to be doing very well. If nothing else, you can disenchant things and sell the materials. Also in the A tier, I've got Leatherworking. Leatherworkers, things are looking up for you. You've got, obviously, your leveling gear, and then we've got a couple of pieces of BOP gear in here that Wowhead highlights as quote-unquote interesting that you are going to be able to craft through work orders. And then we're coming into reinforced armor kits and fierce armor kits and frosted armor kits. These are permanent upgrades to your armor, so basically like enchants. This is something that they had before. In Shadowlands they were temporary, but looks like they are going to be permanent once again in Dragonflight. So those are going to be great sellers. And also you guys are going to be wanting to be crafting up the feral hide drums. These basically give you the bloodlust / heroism buff in a drum form, so you're going to be selling these like hotcakes. And on top of all that, Leatherworkers have 3 new toys that are going to be selling for quite a bit of gold, I am guessing. So Leatherworkers, rejoice. And finally, we've got the S tier. This is the tip top of the list, the cream of the crop, creme de la creme, and all your other superlatives you can think of. And for the S tier, I have got Tailoring, Inscription, and Blacksmithing. I actually had Blacksmithing a little bit lower on the list previously, but then it was pointed out to me that blacksmiths are going to be able to craft weapons that are the equivalent to like Mythic plus gear, so that is obviously going to be a very good seller. So Blacksmith, you're going to be looking pretty good. In addition to the weapons, you're also going to be having leveling, easy for me to say, plate gear for plate wearers. And then we've got some cool stuff in here. Blacksmiths are the ones that are going to be crafting all the new profession tools, and these are BOP, but you should be able to sell them through the work order system. So blacksmiths, you're going to be making quite a bit of gold off of this. And then, of course, another pet. Now, this is BOP also, but we should be able to either put it in a cage or potentially list it as a work order. So blacksmiths, you're going to be rolling in the gold. And next up in the S tier, I've got Inscription. Inscription, I think you're going to be a real winner at the start of the expansion. I think it will taper off a little bit later, but definitely right at the start, Inscription, you're going to be making a ton of gold. Because Darkmoon Fair cards are back, and Darkmoon decks. People love these things. They always sell for a ton of gold. So Inscription, you're going to be making these, crank them out like crazy, sell them as quick as you can before the market dries up. You've also got missives in here, which are going to be sellers for you for probably the entire expansion. They are listed as reagents, and I'm anticipating you'll be able to make a ton of gold off that. I haven't seen any new information about any new glyphs, but I would assume that there's going to be new glyphs, and Inscription always does really well with glyphs, at least until the auction house merger ruined the glyph market. But anyways, we won't get too salty about that. So Inscription, at the start of the expansion, and putting you as one of the major winners. And last, but certainly not least, best, also in the S tier, is Tailoring. Yes, Tailoring, you are the winner, the #1 spot, in my opinion, for the start of the expansion at least. Tailors, in addition to being able to craft cloth gear, you're going to be rolling in it with the new bags. We've got a new 32 and 34 slot bag, as well as reagent bags. We've got 32 and 36 slot reagent bags. Bags always sell fantastically well, so tailors, look to sell these right away. Sell them early, sell them often. And in addition to that, look at all these toys that tailors get. We get a stuffed duck lovey, a forlorn funeral pal, a tent, a cushion. Oh, that's the same tent. And also there is a banner. Now, I don't anticipate this being a super great seller, but I do anticipate it will sell a little bit. So tailors, you are the winner in my opinion. So congratulations, tailoring profession users. tailorists? Tailors? Tailors, yes, tailors. And that is my tier list for the professions in Dragonflight as far as which will make the most gold. Let me know in the comment section what you agree and or disagree with, as long as you keep it respectful, and let me know your reasoning. I'd love to hear it. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I can change your mind. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. We're going to make a ton of gold in Dragonflight, so stay tuned to the channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Special thank you to my YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you for making this channel possible.